In about 30 minutes, Hillary Clinton will talk after losing the presidential election to Donald Trump. What we know about that speech now.
Protesters upset about Trump blocked the San Diego freeway overnight. One of those protesters now recovering after being hit by a car.
Recreational marijuana now legal here in California. One tool officers may use to enforce the law.
This is 10 News to Go. We'll let you know what stories 10 News will be up to date on as far as the election goes, and they're all unfolding today.
In about 30 minutes, Hillary Clinton scheduled to speak after losing the presidential election to Donald Trump. She did call Donald Trump last night to concede. Today's speech mostly directed to her staff and to her supporters. This is the last we saw of them. They were deflated as they left the scene of what they thought would be Clinton's victory party last night. Today's speech will be at a New York hotel. The doors are actually already open. You can watch Clinton's speech right here on 10 News. We will also be live streaming it on 10news.com, on our 10 News Facebook page, and on our app. Meanwhile, President Obama inviting Donald Trump to meet with him at the White House tomorrow. They're going to talk about Trump's transition. The president planning to address the election results in a statement later today. The White House says his televised speech will focus on what steps we can take as a country to come together after this very hard-fought election season.
And big security changes coming for Vice President-elect Mike Pence. We've already seen Secret Service and other law enforcement agencies outside the governor's mansion in Indianapolis. They plan to shut down the streets surrounding his home in Indiana, and the FAA also restricting the airspace around his mansion. That's new from overnight, and about 1,000 anti-Trump protesters, mostly students, marching through the night.
Yeah, their march really blocked off some of the streets, neighborhoods around UCSD. They chanted slurs aimed at Donald Trump. One of the protesters hit by a car when she ran out onto the freeway.
And 10 News reporter Mimi Alcala live at UCSD this morning. Mimi, is anyone protesting now this morning?
No, Jason, everything has become a lot calmer now. Students are starting to arrive for their classes. A completely different scene from what we saw overnight. That protest ended with that woman hit by a car on the I-5. You can see hundreds of students marching overnight in this video. They went through the campus, made their way onto the streets, and then onto the I-5 from the on-ramp from La Jolla Village Drive. And that's where that driver clearly didn't see the students heading onto the freeway. The woman was taken to the hospital with injuries to her leg and side of her body. She was conscious when paramedics got here, but they did take her away in a neck brace. No reports of any arrests or any other violence was reported throughout the night. We're live in La Jolla. Mimi Alcala, 10 News.
You can now smoke recreational pot here in California, but there's still a lot of questions about this. 10 News will be digging into those today. Tonight on 10 News at 6, for example, we're going to be checking in with local law enforcement agencies to see how they are preparing to roll out enforcement of this new law. We'll also look at how pot breathalyzers work and if there are any plans to try them in San Diego. That's tonight on 10 News at 6, and you can see the margin of victory there, 56% to 44%. By the way, don't forget, you can look up all the election results on 10news.com. We will continue to do some deep dives into the ramifications of the measures that have passed. You can see what we find out also on 10news.com and on 10 News, our news shows.